It's Madden NFL 24, and the question is, are you ready for some football? It's the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Detroit Lions, and it's coming up next.
First opened in 2002, there's a look inside Ford Field here in downtown Detroit, the Motor City. Coming up, we got a good matchup on tap here, as it'll be the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Detroit Lions. Happy to be on hand. I'm Brandon Gaudin with Charles Davis. And before we kick, partner, your keys to the game, please.
Well, my keys are on the defensive side of the ball for both teams. And the big one, making sure you avoid giving up the big play. These safeties are going to get tested all game long. Their job, keep the ball in front of them, tackle people, make them run extra plays in order to try and score.
The punter, Jack Fox, has us ready to go, and we are underway here at Ford Field. And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return. So here are the Steelers now to take over for the first time. They'll be led out by the man who proclaims to be from a whole pack of Badgers. Came into the league back in 2012, Russell Wilson.
And similar to his nickname, Russell Wilson has a dangerous mix of skills, the ability to throw from the pocket and extend plays and throw on the run. Not to mention an absolute winner. Usually has his team in the playoffs competing for Super Bowl opportunities.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Wilson going to come out throwing. And incomplete to open things up.
I think he's got to be careful not to force anything into coverage right there. There weren't really any throwing lanes, but the best part for him, he's got 2nd and 3rd down to fall back on.
Here's 2nd and 10. Here's Wilson to throw. He's going to look deep for Watkins. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
Haven't met a corner that's worth his salt yet that ever admits to worrying about man coverage. How about the play there, breaking that pass up?
Crowd getting in it a bit already. Here's an early 3rd and 10. Out of the gun, here's Wilson. Here's one deep for Pickens. And this is dropped. Oh, boy. A chance for a big play early, but he could not secure it.
Concentration, so key on a ball like that. It's hard. I know how difficult it is, but that's a ball you've got to come up with. And instead, a big play is going to slip through their fingers, literally and figuratively.
And on 4th down, on is the punt team sending this one away. Fielded just inside the 20. So a change of possession here on the punt, and the Lions will take over. So out comes this offense to take over for the first time. They're led onto the field by the former Cal Bear and the #1 overall pick in 2016, Jared Goff.
And at one point, the ascension of Jared Goff was really, really strong. Back-to-back Pro Bowls, took his team to the Super Bowl and came really within 1 quarter of winning it. But since that time, he's had bouts of inconsistency, and that's been the struggle for him as he tries to get back to the form he showed earlier in his career.
On 1st and 10, Goff. And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
Had an open man that time, but ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely. Just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. First carry now for David Montgomery. And to the 36-yard line, taken down there after getting 8 yards.
Playing against a 3-4 front is really challenging for offensive linemen because they can do so many different things. But when you're running the football, if you can handle the nose tackle up front and then maybe a guard can slide up to the second level and block a linebacker, that's when you have success running the football.
They'll run it. Here's Montgomery. Yeah, this is only going to be a gain of 2. He needed 3. It's 4th and 1.
Well, they picked up a portion of it, but not all that they needed. Now that leads to a decision on 4th and 1. Let's see what they decide to do.
On 4th down, Jack Fox on to punt for Detroit. And a fair catch called for and made at the 12-yard line. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Steelers are going to take over 1st and 10 deep in their own territory. A handoff to Harris to begin the drive. And he'll get this one up to about his 14. Derek Barnes in on the stop.
That felt like a trap because it looked to me like the opposing front was on that play from the get-go. They had everyone crashing the ball carrier before he even made the line, and they hold him to just a yard.
They work now on 2nd and 9. From the gun, it's Wilson. And he's going to be brought down back at his own 6-yard line. Flying in for that sack, Aiden Hutchinson.
They snapped the ball backed up inside their own 10. Now they're backed up even further, and they can thank their coverage for that. They called a zone, and they were aggressive enough to deny an early window, and that gave their rushers a chance to get to the pocket.
Well, a tough situation to overcome here. 3rd and 17. Now it's Wilson. He's got his target. That's complete. And he will have a Steelers 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. He missed on his first 3 passes, was 0 for 3. Now gets a connection. Maybe that'll get him going.
Yeah, it wasn't a time for panic, but there was some concern because once you start in a certain pattern, you're wondering, can you get out of it? And that flips the other way, too, when you're throwing it really well. In this case, now he's got his first completion. They think he might be off to the races. And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. And that's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
They go play action now. Wilson. That's swung out wide to Harris. And he'll get up near the 45. They'll spot it at the 44. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a 1st down.
Well, they've certainly done a nice job spreading the ball around on this drive. This time he gets it out to his back, and it's another nice play and another 1st down. They've got the defense on their heels a little bit. They're reacting instead of being aggressive and making plays.
Now a 1st down carry for Harris. On a determined run there as he's going to take this all the way down near the 40. Pittsburgh getting 16 yards there and also a 1st down. The first drive this unit had, they punted. This drive much more polished, just looking crisper, aren't they, moving the ball?
Maybe the first drive was a little bit of a wake-up call. Probably a little bit angry that they had to punt the ball away the first time they had it. Got motivated, got to the sideline, said, okay, let's not let that happen here as we take over again.
And he'll power ahead, but only for about 3 yards. 2nd down coming up.
They went right back to him, but he pretty much had nowhere to go on that play.
Yeah, the previous carry looked pretty good. That one, maybe he was a little tired. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he should have tapped out and had a second back come in and maybe make that run. Who knows?
From the 38 now, here's a 2nd and 7. Now Wilson. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football, and this is scooped up by the Lions. And his guys will set up shop at midfield at the 50-yard line. The pocket collapsed around him. I know we talk about it a lot, but a QB has to have that sixth sense, doesn't he?
He really does, and I know of one team at one point was training their quarterback with that time frame, and anytime he didn't get rid of the ball within the right amount of time, they would blow a horn or blow a whistle to show him this is what that time is, just what you're talking about, training him to understand this is the amount you have, make sure the ball's gone. Didn't happen in this case.
Good starting field position for them as they come up 1st and 10 right at the 50-yard line. Following the fumble recovery, Goff. Throw left side complete. That's Montgomery. It'll go as a gain of 4, and it's 2nd down.
All defenses worry that whenever anyone catches the ball and has a head of steam come out of the backfield, it could turn into a big play with missed tackles or he runs through people. But they were right there waiting, and they stopped him for a minimal gain.
From the 46-yard line, a 2nd down and 6. Now Goff. He's got right on the short throw. And that's good for a gain of 6. And that's going to make it 3rd down and less than a yard.
Let's not quibble about the gain there on 2nd down. That was a positive play because that was a take-what-you-can-get situation. Got out to the tight end. Now it gives them a much better opportunity to convert on 3rd down.
Could be 4-down territory even if they don't get this, but they need just a few inches here on 3rd. They'll fake the give. Now Goff. And that is caught at the 10-yard line. And he is out of bounds right around the 10-yard line. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
Well, dialing up that play call certainly meant that he grabbed a little extra shot of courage on that one because normally on 3rd and short, you're just trying to move the sticks, get the ball just past that line of scrimmage. Instead, they take the big shot downfield, and it pays off.
From the 10, 1st and goal. Goff throwing again. Got a man, and he hits him in stride. That's good for a gain of 6, 2nd and goal.
Now that's staying ahead of the chains. Really good pickup on 1st down, hitting the tight end there. Now it brings up a 2nd and manageable.
Just found a hole in that zone. 2nd and goal from inside the 5. Montgomery is not going to get a whole lot, maybe a yard down to the 3. Call it a gain of a yard as they get a little bit closer here. It's 3rd and goal. This is kind of one of those in-between plays here, Charles, on 3rd and goal from the 2 or the 3 in that area. What do you dial up?
Something quick hitting. You don't have the time for something that develops slowly. It's got to be right at them if you're going to run the football. And if you're going to throw it, something quick, get it out of your hands in a hurry.
Meanwhile, on 3rd down, they take a shot at the end zone, but it's incomplete. So they opted to pass for it on 3rd and goal. Let's see what they do on 4th and goal.
Well, I think they threw it with the idea that if they didn't get it, they would go for it on 4th and goal. So they've got another play in their pocket. They're going to have to call it right now. No field goal here.
Badgley's kick is good, and the Lions are going to take a 3-0 lead. So the defense are able to force their first turnover of the game, and then they add on to that by getting the field goal.
And you don't just want to take the ball away from your opponent, partner. You want to make them hurt as well. And if you don't score yourself on defense, turn it over to your offense and have them put points on the board.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And he'll be tackled just shy of the 25. The Steelers ready to take over on offense. And last time they coughed it up, led to a field goal. They're fortunate that it only led to a field goal, but still, they're not happy about it.
Could you sense the relief, though, when they only gave up the field goal? And they were able to trot back out on the field and start this drive. A little more pep in their step because they didn't cost their team a touchdown. But they know they've got to do it a lot better than they did on the last possession.
The coach will just be relieved, though, if they recoup with a score here, right?
I think the coach would be ecstatic to see them pick themselves back up and now take it downfield, punching the end zone without turning it over.
There to stop him was Carlton Davis.
Oh, that's a real nice job there by the defensive front. They just engaged and held their ground. But how about the guy who made the play? We often talk about whether they take a good first step or not. Many times you just don't take any step. Just get your feet moving, get your body going, and then once he made the read, he was able to make the play.
A second down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
Well, it certainly appears that they're going to try and keep getting him the football. That's the third time they've looked in his direction. Unfortunately, haven't completed one yet, but I'm not sure they're going to shy away from him. They feel like they've got something there, and they want to capitalize on it.
I think you're right. We're only in the first quarter, so a lot of opportunities ahead. On third down, Wilson. And the Lions pressure too strong. Down he goes. The defense rising to the challenge and setting him back on the sack. And that is the third sack this offensive line has allowed this first quarter.
Man, that puts him on pace. Let me do the rudimentary math here. To be sacked 12 times in a game. I know he's not going to go for that. I wonder if it's going to reshape what they decide to do on offense in terms of play calling.
Well, I can tell you what, when he popped up, shaking his head, frustrated right now behind center. On fourth down, out is the punter, Cameron Johnston, to boot it away. Taken right around the 44. They'll call this a 41-yard punt, 7 on the return. And the Lions will have excellent field position here as they take over 1st and 10. And Detroit back in possession of the football. They've got a 3-0 lead and the football as they start 1st and 10. To throw is Goff. And his throw here is incomplete.
That was a classic example of trying to run with the ball without securing the catch. He was thinking about those rack yards instead of making the catch first and then taking off.
They come up with exactly 1 minute to go in this first quarter. Back to the air. Goff on second down. Got his man. It's Williams. And a 6-yard gain gets him right around the 43. This now a 3rd and 4. Here's Goff. Throwing quickly there, but it's incomplete.
Coverage was awfully tight there on 3rd down. They actually closed off all the passing lanes, forcing the incompletion and bringing up 4th down.
Jack Fox out to punt here on 4th down. And this will be out of bounds, and they spot it at the 15-yard line. Not too bad. The Pittsburgh offense at the line to start their next drive. The crowd may be losing just a little bit of the edge after back-to-back punts.
They want some big plays. They want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting to see where the patience is on both sides. Each head coach, can you hang in there and not try and force something that could put your team in some jeopardy?
Steeler football here to begin quarter number 2, as they've got it with a 2nd and 10. They run again with Harris, powering forward. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. The Steelers picking up 15 yards there and a first down.
And that's the big fella's MO right there. Running through tackles, keeping the sticks moving forward. This defense, if you don't bring 11 guys to the ball to try and get him on the ground, he's going to keep making runs like that. I feel the press box shaking every time he touches the rock.
Throwing now, Wilson on first down. And he'll protect himself at the end here as he winds up getting pretty decent yardage. Nice work to get 7 out of that, and it's second down.
Certainly not the way they drew it up in the playbook, but that's why they love this guy back there. He sees things breaking down, and he's more than capable of finding an escape route and still getting a decent gain.
On second down, this is Harris. And this is going to be a Steelers first down as he's got this up to the 45-yard line.
I think they like this drive a little bit better there, partner. Running game helping out, picking up some of the slack. Because remember, the last drive, they went 3 and out.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Now they'll throw it with Wilson. A short one there to Freiermuth.
It certainly feels like there are more stars at the tight end position than there were even 10 years ago. And I think it's become more of a glamour position because of the ways it can hurt a defense, and guys want to be involved. They can be in line, close to the line of scrimmage. They can split out like receivers. But hands, route running, speed, and some toughness to go across the middle, you put it all together, you got a heck of a tight end candidate.
Now a throw here to his running back. And he'll go down shy of the 40 at the 41. 4 yards the pickup, first down. He's already proven to be a factor in the running game on this drive. Now he gets involved in the passing game.
I think what we're seeing here is the modern version of workhorse in the NFL, being able to run it and catch it with equal proficiency.
Wilson's throw into the hands of Pickens. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on first down.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
On second down, a run with Patterson. And he's able to work his way down inside the red zone to the 19-yard line. 12 yards that time at a Pittsburgh first.
This has been a good drive so far, and it's been the running game for the most part that's powered them down there. Another nice burst there, picking up a first down. Now it's 1st and 10, as you said, in the red zone.
So here's a 1st and 10 now, down inside the 20. Harris running straight ahead. And he'll take this inside the 20 and down to the 18. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
That's a good play by the guys on the defensive side of the ball. Held them to a gain of 2. And that changes the playbook a little bit now for the guy calling plays. 2nd and 8. Now he's got to probably think about going to the air instead of maybe staying with the ground game.
They'll give it to Patterson. And he'll take it from the 18 to the 15. A gain of 3. And the Steelers on third down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and 6. Here's Wilson. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And the Steelers are going to have 1st and goal as they try to finish off this drive with 6 points.
A field goal helps, but a touchdown gets you the lead. That had to be the message transmitted in the huddle. And they delivered there as that throw is going to keep the drive alive. And even better than that, set them up with a 1st and goal.
Harris. And just a short gain that time as they're able to get him down. Only a yard on the pickup there. 2nd and goal.
All of a sudden, those lanes that were there earlier in the drive dry up near the goal line. That's a good job defensively to diagnose the run and stop it for a very short pickup.
The tight end in motion right. Again, it's Harris. And he's in. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Najee Harris. It's a 1-yard touchdown run, and the Steelers have taken the lead. Well, nothing fancy there, Charles. You had 3 tight ends on the field. They were going to run the football. The defense knew it, but the defense couldn't stop them.
And I haven't met an offensive line yet that doesn't get more satisfaction out of running the football into the end zone than pass protecting. They had determination on their side, and they got it done.
Boswell good with the extra point, and that makes it a 7-3 lead. So that drive spans 13 plays. And it was Najee Harris who finished it off with a touchdown run. Boswell now to kick it away after the touchdown. And able to get this across the 20, but not much further as he's dropped it to 23-yard line. Detroit's offense ready to take over. And it's been very much a slow start for them. 3 drives and just the 3 points, CD.
Yeah, if you're into the points per drive ratio, that answer is 1. And that's not going to get it done in a ball game. They've got to find a way to finish these drives in end zones, not having balls go through goalposts.
Goff and this Lions offense set for a 1st and 10 at their own 23. He'll begin by dropping it off to Montgomery. And a short pickup to about the 25.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here. And if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up a score.
On 2nd down, here's Gibbs. Breaks the tackle, now an alley. There he goes, left side. Inside the 20. Touchdown, Detroit. Jahmyr Gibbs, 75 yards. And the Lions are once again back in front. They erased that deficit pretty quickly, did they not? A 2-play drive.
What do we call that? Short-lived?
Very.
Very short-lived. 2 plays later, they're in the end zone and back out in front. We always talk about drives, don't we? Does 2 plays count as a drive?
Not really, but that second play was so good. I don't care what we call it. It was enjoyable to watch. Michael Badgley on for the extra point. And it's through, and that makes the lead 10-7. It only took him 2 plays there to find the end zone. The last one, the long run, getting him in for 6 points. Here are the Lions now as they line up and kick this one away. And he'll get it up past the 20 to about the 22. Pittsburgh offense making their way back out. This drive here beginning probably with a pair of motivated groups. Remember, the offense scored a touchdown on their last time out, looking to repeat that in Charles's defense. They were very frustrated after giving up 6 the last time on the field.
And frankly, it's just a battle of wills in a lot of ways because you know they're both motivated. They both game plan for this drive, and they both have specific outcomes in mind. To me, it just comes down to who can execute better and which side can step up and assert its will over the other.
They go play action with Wilson. And that is incomplete.
To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have not allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion.
So after the incompletion, 2nd and 10 from the 22. Here's Wilson. He finds his man, complete. That's Watkins. 9 yards, not quite enough, and they'll be left now with 3rd and 1.
He decided to run a hitch route. It really helps to have a guy who can turn it loose. And, boy, he rifled one in there on that one. Not much run after catch, but it worked really well.
Here now, 3rd and a yard. To throw is Wilson. That is caught. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. They get 6 on the pickup there as the drive continues. Got to say, I was a little surprised to see him, Charles, come out in the shotgun on 3rd and less than a yard.
Yeah, but the way the NFL is nowadays, we hardly ever see anyone really run for it on short yardage. So they're going to throw the football more times than not. That was a nice, easy rhythm throw right there, and they pick up the first down.
And he'll power his way forward for about 4 yards there on the first down carry.
And that was a quality play to start a new set of downs. That was simply an offensive line winning the battle up front and winning in a big way and giving their guy in the backfield a nice lane to hit.
2nd down and 6 now. Throwing is Wilson. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Patterson. They'll come up facing 3rd and 5. Here's Wilson to throw. And smartly going into the slide there, Wilson has enough for the first. A strong 8 yards will keep this drive rolling.
Certainly not a positive sign if you're the D coordinator and you see your guys give up that space so early in the game. 3rd down, that's when the clamps are supposed to come out. But his ability to create things with his legs makes things difficult.
Now Wilson on first down. And this one is incomplete.
Not only did he have a chance to scan the field there, it felt like he had a chance to scan it twice. The protection was that good. Unfortunately for him, the coverage downfield, equally good.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Now Wilson. And he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down. More than one defender there, and that's a loss of 5 on the sack. So that now 4 first-half sacks. This pass rush has been unrelenting.
And, partner, you hear that sound of paper being ripped to shreds? That's the game plan that they've had so far because they've got to say to themselves right now, we have to do something differently.
He finds his man complete. That's Watkins. And, boy, he is very close to a first down, but from where they're spotting that football, he's going to be a foot or so short.
And I believe that that gain on 3rd and long changes things quite a bit because this would be a very long field goal. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for it here.
Now on 4th down, it's Cameron Johnston on to punt it away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And they may just be content to take this 3-point lead and head into the locker room. And an anxious moment or two there, but they do get him down. Now a timeout signaled for, and they'll get it with 10 seconds to go before halftime. One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. Here's Goff. And that's hauled in by St. Brown over the middle. And now we'll get a late timeout as it comes in the waning moments of quarter number 2. And they line up now for what will likely be the last play of the first half. A final shot before break here. Goff. That one let go deep for Laporta. And a little floater there, but it'll wind up incomplete, falling to the ground. So we've reached halftime here in Detroit with the Lions out on top. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. Back to you guys in a bit. But first, we welcome everyone to our EA Sports Halftime Report. This one's been as good as advertised. Just a field goal separating these two teams. This is a very level first half, and I'd expect to see more of the same after the break.
Okay, Coach, thanks as always. This one's still anyone's game as we welcome you back for quarter number 3. A good, tight football game thus far. 10-7 the score as we resume action on EA Sports. Here's Khalif Raymond to return. And he'll get it up just past the 20 as his guys will go to work at the 21-yard line. And the Lions getting set to go on offense to start the third. But Charles, for them, pretty good first half on the ground. They had some success running the ball in quarters 1 and 2, and they've got the lead. Now a chance to expand upon that lead here with their first drive in the third quarter.
Yeah, and believe it or not, you and I have noticed that this great game of football has shifted towards pass first, run second. So for me, it's really nice to see some of these teams keeping the ground game as a big component of their offense, and it's working pretty well for them now. And let's face it, they can continue to do damage with it. And in addition, it sets up the pass game really well for them, too.
Right now, the story of this game continuing to be the defenses because the offenses, they're finding it difficult to establish any rhythm whatsoever.
I like how you come to us in praise of defense, Brandon, because that's exactly right. That was an incompletion for us there, but we've seen it throughout this game. Both of these defense coordinators, they're a step ahead of their offensive counterparts.
Now a nice throw here right side. He hauls it in. And he'll be taken down, but not before they reach the 50. And now following the completion, we're going to get a stoppage here for an injury. The medical staff will attend to him, and we will step aside. So the line of scrimmage all the way up to midfield now as they've got it 1st and 10. In motion goes Raymond. And they're going to give it to him on the jet sweep. And that one never got off the ground. He's going to be stopped up well behind the line of scrimmage. Cameron Hayward getting upfield to make the stop. That's the danger, Charles, of running plays like this for your wide receiver. They can hit big or they can be duds.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that because if they're forced to try and go around defenders behind the line of scrimmage, sometimes you can give yardage in order to gain it. But in this case, they gave yardage and didn't get it back.
And a good push there defensively as they stop him at the 48, a gain of just 1. When we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot, he had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
He's got his target. That's complete. And they're going to have themselves another first down as the tackle's made at the Steelers' 35. Just his second catch of the game so far. This one moves the chains.
It's taken a while for this offense to get going. A little creaky at the start, but they're oiled up now. A nice throw there, and they're really putting together a good drive.
Operating out of Steeler territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. They run. Montgomery. And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it.
Early down stuffs will put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority one.
From the 33, here's a 2nd and 8. Now Goff. That's into the hands of Khalif Raymond. And he'll go down at the 28. The 8th play of the drive coming up. It's 3rd and 3. Gibbs will try and pick it up. Able to slither by. And he gets this down to the 18. Good enough for a first down. 84 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive. Because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense getting a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. From the red zone now, Goff. It's complete to Williams. So give him 2 yards there on the completion, and it'll be 2nd down.
Simple drag route here, lined up out left and tried to work his way back across the field. You probably saw me twitch there, partner, because I think he wanted the ball a little bit sooner. By the time he looked it in, defender was right on him.
On 2nd down, Montgomery able to fight for about 4 yards there to the 13.
But really, that was no surprise there. They've been running it well all game, and I know goals change all the time, but any team will take that type of run each and every time.
Here is 3rd and 5. Goff now looks to throw. Now that'll be caught by St. Brown. And he's got this inside the 10 to the 9 before he's out of bounds. The result, only 4 yards there on the play. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Well, it looks like they got what they wanted. They got the completion, but they weren't able to break any tackles or gain nearly enough yardage to pick up the first down. Now to be 4th and short.
Montgomery, they'll run for it. And boy, is he close. Did he get there? No, they're going to say he's short of the line to gain. They'll get neither the touchdown nor the first down. And this Steeler defense able to come up with a stop. And you wonder, Charles, could that decision come back to haunt them later?
And it really could, because in this situation, you kick the field goal in a tight game like this, that's a good play.
Yeah.
But maybe what he's saying to himself is, I'm just not a big proponent of the old idea that any possession that ends in a kick, I'm happy with. He wanted to be really aggressive.
A little twist here in the 3rd quarter. They'll throw on first down with Wilson. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
Yes, sir. How about an attaboy there on first down? Got his hand in and knocked it away.
Now a 2nd and 10. They hand this off to Harris. They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4.
It's not a huge breakaway run, but if your starting running back finishes the game with averages of 5 or 6 yards per touch, you'll take that every single time.
Here is 3rd down and 4. Out of the gun, here's Wilson. And under the Lions' pressure, he's brought down. Aiden Hutchinson able to get in there for his 2nd sack of the afternoon. This defense, they just continue to feast. 5 sacks now as a unit. It's been quite an afternoon getting to the quarterback.
And we're seeing it come from a variety of places as well. Sometimes just the guys up front getting to him. Other times you add extra guys rushing the quarterback, twists and stunts. It's been a variety, and they've had no way of blocking them.
Here's the Detroit offense now as they head back out onto the field. They've got some stuff to build on from that last drive because they moved the football, CD, and then they tried to go for it on 4th down, didn't convert, probably left a bitter taste in their mouths.
I would say so, and I think that they go out in this series determined for that not to happen again. In fact, they don't even want to get to a 4th down opportunity. They just want to make sure they get it done within the parameters that they've set for themselves. Run their offense, get it into the end zone. Yeah, I think a little bit of determination and a dash of anger.
To Montgomery to begin the drive. And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And he'll take this into the end zone. Now, hold on here. We do have a flag down. So let's see what this is about. Brutal. So take away the long touchdown.
It's a cruel game sometimes, partner.
And they'll send the slot in motion left. He'll get it here on the jet sweep. And some room to work. And he is out of bounds inside the 35. And a nice gain of 21 yards. An excellent run there coming from out wide.
And we used to consider these jet sweeps to be gadget plays or something a little bit unusual, right? But now most teams have some version of this play in their playbook. And I think it's a lot because of the receivers that are being developed nowadays. These guys look like running backs, even though they're playing out on the perimeter.
First down, here's the run with Montgomery. And not much running room. Down to the 32. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
No doubt about it. A really nice job there by the defense, not allowing him to get to the perimeter. But that means your defensive ends, your outside linebackers, the guys that you pay big money to sack the quarterback, they also have to have interest in the running game as well. And they did a nice job there of holding the point of attack and not giving ground.
And he will cross the 30 down to the 29-yard line. Give him 3 yards, and now they're left needing a conversion here on 3rd and 6.
Let's give a lot of credit to the offensive line. They've been able to move the ball really well on the ground the entire game. And while that wasn't a huge one, that's okay. They'll take them in short, steady bursts.
They'll fake the handoff. Now Goff. And too much juice. It'll be out of bounds, incomplete. The Steeler defense locked in, forcing an upcoming 4th down. Here's Michael Badgley ready for the field goal try. Made his first. This now from 46 yards away. Badgley able to punch this one through. And the lead stretches to 6 here. It's 13-7. So it was a 3-point lead at halftime, and they double that with a field goal here.
And I think defensively, you've got to be okay with that because you've kept this game within a touchdown. Your hope is that you've inspired your offense to put a drive together, get in the end zone themselves, and hopefully get you the lead.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This fielded right at the goal line. And no alley to be found. The coverage was solid, and he's dropped at the 18. Now the Steelers offense gets ready to get back onto the field. See if they can put this drive in the end zone, Charles, because it's been a little bit of a rough go at times. They've had to punt the football a ton in this ball game because of stalled out drives.
So are you saying that you're kind of tired of seeing the punter run out there and do his thing during this game? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I mean, I'm okay with it. I have a feeling that this offense, they don't want to see the punter again.
And frankly, the punter doesn't want to run out there anymore himself. He'd love to see his offense put together a drive and give his leg a rest.
Call it a gain of 6 on the play, and that's going to bring up 2nd down. On the delay, here's Harris. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. 64 yards rushing for him now as he's carried it 13 times.
That's a good, nice, crisp run for a first down. I wonder if the defense might have been loosened up a little bit, maybe anticipating a pass instead of the run that they got.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. They stay on the ground. Again, it's Harris. And he'll power ahead, but only for about 3 yards. 2nd down coming up.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly a win-win, but if you're on offense, you'll take that kind of a run, all right? It was kind of stacked up, found a little bit of yardage, and frankly, they're pretty close to staying on schedule on offense. The playbook is still open for the coordinator.
On the give, this is Harris. And he'll push forward to the 37, gain of 2.
Well, that's not a run that's going to make any of the highlight tapes, but they've been moving it well all game on the ground. This is another one that keeps them moving forward.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Now it's Wilson. And smartly going into the slide there, Wilson has enough for the first. And that is going to do it for this 3rd quarter of action. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now at Ford Field. A couple of first downs has the football positioned at the 43 as they come up 1st and 10. He gets away from one. And he'll be corralled out across midfield down to the 45. A Steeler first down on the pickup of 11 yards.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. I just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there. I'm going to tackle this guy. By the 4th quarter, you're coming up and thinking about it.
And D-line wearing down 4th quarter. Yeah. And the Lions pressure too strong. Down he goes.
Multiple defenders get to him there, and that is the 6th time he's been sacked in this ball game. I don't know what else can be said about this pass rush. They have been sensational, CD. That is now 6 sacks for them.
And how many times do we talk to offensive coordinators and they say a sack is a result of everyone on offense not doing their job? But let's be honest about this one. This is the offensive line unable to counter the pass rush. They've been teeing off all game long.
They go play action now. Wilson. Got an open man. It's Washington. A minimal gain there on the 8th play of the drive.
That was an okay hook up there with his tight end, but unfortunately, they didn't get the kind of yards they had hoped for. That's going to bring up 3rd down.
This offense so far on 3rd down, 5 out of 9 thus far. This will be a tough 3rd and 18. From the shotgun, Wilson. Going deep here for Watkins. This is caught inside the 15. A big play that time for Pittsburgh. 41 yards.
That could very well be a defining play in this game. A touchdown, that gives them a lead, and they took a major step towards getting there with that big play right there.
So how about this for field position after the big play? Inside the 15 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Wilson.
Pass complete to Cordero Patterson out of the backfield.
And here he'll get it down to the 7. So the completion good for 6 yards. And that will bring up 2nd down.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
And they're going to get to him, a sack. Sacked back at the 9-yard line.
John Kaminsky
in there with pressure yet again. That is the 7th time that they have dropped him here this afternoon.
This offensive line flat out cannot handle this pass rush. We've seen it demonstrated time and time again to the tune of 7 sacks in this game thus far.
On third down, Wilson. And caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Steelers.
Calvin Austin.
A 9-yard touchdown grab.
And the Steelers are an extra point away from taking the lead here in the fourth.
Boswell for the extra point. And this puts him on top by a penny. It's 14-13. That one in the books as a 12-play drive.
And in the end, a Calvin Austin touchdown grab finished the drive off.
Boswell now to kick it away after the touchdown.
And he will make it to the 20-yard line and no further.
Now the Lions offense, they get ready to head back out there.
We certainly have a good one on our hands. They're trailing after that last touchdown, but now a chance for this offense to try to snag that lead right back here in the fourth quarter. Goff and this Lions offense set for a 1st and 10.
At the 20. They'll try and start this drive in the air.
He's got it complete to Gibbs.
And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. Nice way to start the drive, a gain of 12 and a 1st down.
And here we are in the fourth quarter, partner, and watch them drive for what would be a go-ahead touchdown. And you and I both know this is where you need a quarterback who can keep his cool back there, not just for himself, but to keep the rest of the team relaxed too.
Now a 1st down throw. Goff.
That pass caught. It's Williams.
And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. 25 yards that time.
Kind of a dangerous throw there. He's off balance when he gets rid of it. But this is all about a quarterback knowing what he can get away with. And that time, it turns into a completion and a healthy gain as well.
Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on 1st down. Going up the gut, Montgomery. And he'll be brought down at about the 42.
Linebacker Patrick Queen bringing him down.
Absolutely love the effort there. The ability to flow from his inside spot and stop that one at the line of scrimmage. Nice linebacker play.
From the 42-yard line, here's the 2nd down and 9.
Again, they'll go ground with Montgomery. And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield. This will be a loss of 3, and now a much tougher 3rd down looming.
Sometimes you just sit back and marvel at what he can do defensively. Speed. He's the whole package, and that package just wrapped up the runner for a loss.
Throwing on 3rd, Goff. Pressure comes, and the Steelers take him down. T.J. Watt causing the disruption. He gets the sack.
Now that was a passer's nightmare. The front door totally shut down by the defense, so he kept going backwards, hoping to find another avenue of escape. It didn't exist.
Here comes the Lions punter now, as he's on here to punt it away. This is taken at about the 14.
The Steelers ready for their next possession.
And they'll just simply be looking to build off the confidence of the last time out where they scored a touchdown.
And confidence is powerful, isn't it? When you've scored once, you feel like you can go back out there and get it done again. Doesn't matter what the defense throws at them. They feel like they're in a groove right now, and they want to get out there and show it.
Yeah, hoping to stay in that groove here this go-around. They'll bring a tight end in motion left. They'll start the drive with Harris. And he tries to power forward, but he will not get back to the line of scrimmage.
Oh, man, can't do that.
So it's the big left tackle who gets tagged with a hold.
And sometimes you're actually executing the block well, and he starts to slip off of you, and instinctively you reach out and grab him. And when it's done like that, it's often seen by the official and called.
So following the hold, they're in a bit of a hole here with a 1st and 20. Play action. It's Wilson. It's brought in by Harris. And he'll get it up a little shy of the 15. They'll spot him down at the 14-yard line. And just 3 yards on the catch there. He couldn't get away. And that'll bring up 2nd down. A run with Harris out of the shotgun. And just not a ton of room to work with. He'll get it to the 15 for a gain of 2. A tight game like this, such a tough spot for the offense to be in. Even though they have the lead, Charles, back up so close to their goal line, they got to protect the football.
And that's when you have to take care of your team with play calling as well. Not a lot of misdirection, not a lot of counters, not a lot of plays where you have extra ball handling. Get it right to the hands of your running back. Tell him to take.
And he's going to be brought down back at his own 6-yard line.
Well, this is getting ridiculous. 8 sacks now. That time multiple guys get to it.
This is a little hard for me to compute because I'm watching sack after sack happen, but somehow they're still behind in the game. I would expect all of this defensive pressure to translate to them taking a lead, and thus far it hasn't happened. Time's winding down. They don't want to waste this type of performance from these ace pass rushers.
Here's Cameron Johnston now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. Now a fair catch called for and made right on the 45-yard line. And Detroit getting set to go now.
Their defense accomplished step 1 of the mission. They forced the punt. Now they'll look to erase that deficit and take a 4th quarter lead.
Good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10 at their own 46. Goff.
Throws out left. It's caught by Williams.
And he's brought down. Right off the bat, it's a 1st down to start the drive, 12 yards.
Now that was pretty. They executed that curl route versus zone coverage, and that changes things a little bit because against man, it's often a tight curl, a sharply run route. Against zone, you're just looking for that open spot, that dead area, so you may curl it a little bit wider just to get to that place.
And usually a tight window. He fired a bullet in there for the completion.
Fourth quarter, 2 minutes on the clock in a tight 1-point game.
So the Lions in possession of the football as we welcome you back. They come up on a 2nd down now in a game that looks like it's going to go down to the wire. Up the middle, it's Montgomery. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30. That time, the right guard sending him backwards.
And so many different types of guys rotate in on the defensive line now, depending on situations. You can get the bulky guy, the fast guy. No matter what, though, you can't hold them.
Now Goff.
He'll go right back to St. Brown.
And give him 6 yards here as he stopped near the 35 at the 34. Very sharp here to start this drive, 3 for 3.
Yeah, I like the way he's running this 2-minute drill. Very sharp, very precise in throwing the football.
A big play here. 3rd and 2.
Goff.
And this pass broken up. The contact well timed there, and now 4th down.
Partner, they've got one chance left to keep this one going, and I think for you and me, let's think along with their offensive coordinator now. Has to think back, cycle through every play of this contest, and remember what's worked and what hasn't. Because right here, He needs the best play of the game in order to keep this one alive.
Badgley able to knock this one through, and they have taken the lead here in the final 2 minutes. Big kick right there to give them the lead in the fourth, but there is still time left for a final drive.
Did they score too soon? Post-game will tell us, right? Depending on what happens on this drive, that's how we'll analyze it. If the other team scores, they scored too soon. If they somehow hold on, they managed the clock exactly right.
Here are the Lions now as they line up and kick this one away.
And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line.
So Russell Wilson in the offense. Down by 2. A little over 80 ticks to go. Now their lead is evaporated, but they still have a shot on first down. Throwing now is Wilson.
Setting up the screen, Harris.
Unable to corral him. He fights through.
And he is going to get out of bounds with the first down. So that's going to double their pleasure for sure. They get the first and save a timeout.
And that's not a play that you see all that often at the start of a drive, but some teams, they don't mind doing it. And that one, well sold by the offensive lineman. They showed the pass, and then they got out into space, able to get some good blocks downfield and allow the play to be successful.
Pass complete to Harris.
Sometimes it's hard to figure, but you can live with incompletions in this situation. You can't live with these short gains that take time off the clock.
You know who loves it? This defense.
Here's a 2nd and 7.
Here's Wilson.
Complete. Jefferson the target. And he will get out of bounds here as well. What a play. Big yardage. They stop the clock, and they move it to the boundary of field goal range as well.
That's what they need right now. Get the first down, get out of bounds, stop the clock.
Just playing smart football, understanding the situation, making the plays necessary, and making sure that clock stops at every opportunity.
All 3 timeouts still at their disposal. Here's 1st and 10 now. And some strong running there as he's down just shy of the 20 on the edge of the red zone. This is 1st and 10.
They'll run again with Harris. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. Harris running straight ahead, and he's able to work it here to the 8-yard line. The Lions will use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this.
Here we go, 1st and goal.
They run with Harris, and he'll be stopped just outside the 5 at the 6.
At this stage, you've got to hustle, got to get back to the line of scrimmage because you're saving that timeout to make sure you have a chance to get your kicker out there for the big shot.
Now the Steelers going to use their 3rd and final timeout as they'll stop it with 13 seconds left to play. So on now for the field goal try, Chris Boswell. This to almost certainly win the football game. The Lions now going to use the second of their timeouts. That'll leave them with just one remaining in this fourth quarter of play. So here we go. On now is the kicker, Chris Boswell. This to take the lead here in the final minute. And this one is right through. And it's celebration time on that sideline as they have taken the lead in the final seconds. And I tell you, when it comes to needing a field goal in closing seconds, pressure situation, there's something to be said for having a veteran kicker trot out there.
Agreed. It's so nice to have someone you can rely on, someone who you know has done it before. And this guy's as cool as they come, isn't he?
After the successful field goal try, here's Boswell to send it away.
And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28. They'll come up 1st and 10 here.
Now it's Goff.
St. Brown on the catch.
And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield.
That was a long shot, but they did get one final chance to try to score and overcome this small deficit. No touchdown, though, Charles. And that brings this one to a close.
Yeah, I think Hope was wearing one jersey and Worry was wearing another on the other sideline as that final snap played out. Now, we've seen some incredible plays to win games before, but in this case, I think the distance was just a little bit too great for it to happen here.
That'll do it for us. For Charles Davis and all our hardworking crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL.